Welcome to Oak Tree Stories, timeless tales rooted in India. Here you'll find gentle, thoughtful tales drawn from our rich storytelling traditions, from ancient fables and folklore to heartwarming slices of modern Indian life. Each story is carefully chosen and lovingly crafted to be age appropriate and calming, with just a touch of wonder. So come, get cozy, and let the story begin. Hi, I'm Shalini, your storyteller. Before we begin today's story, it's time for this week's special artist shout out. This one is extra special. We received a wonderful dog drawing inspired by our story, The Donkey and the Dog, and it was sent to us by Dr. Jawahar Anand. Dr. Jawahar is a dentist and a listener of Oak Tree Stories, and he created this drawing for his 2-year-old niece. I love that. A grown-up listening to stories, picking up a pencil and drawing for a little one. That's exactly how stories travel, from one person to another, from one generation to the next. If you'd like to see his artwork, you can find it shared on our Oak Tree Stories social media pages. And if your child, or even you, would like to send us something inspired by one of our stories, we would love to see it. Listen till the end to know how you can send in your artwork. Also, we now create personalized commission stories written especially for your child. Sometimes they're for birthdays, sometimes for a new sibling, sometimes simply because there's a moment you want to hold on to. Each story is shaped slowly and thoughtfully, keeping your child at the heart of it. If you'd like to know more, you can find all the details on our website www.oaktreebooks.in/Oak Tree Stories. And now it's time for today's story. Today's story is inspired by a Kashmiri folk tale known as Shal-e-Jamaderi, which means the wolf's leadership. It is inspired by a traditional folk tale, but as always, it has been shaped and retold in our own way. It's a story about fear, about courage, and about what changes when no one stands alone. So find a comfortable place, take a slow breath, and let's begin. High in the mountains of Kashmir, where pine trees cling to rock and cold wind slips through narrow passes, there lived a pack of wolves. At night, they hunted along the ridges. They could run over loose stone without slipping. They could scent a hare before it stirred. They moved like shadows, quiet, quick, certain of one another. By dawn, they returned to a hollow in the mountainside, a dip in the earth ringed with rock, sheltered from the wind. That was where they slept. That was where they should have been safe. But there was a lion. He came from the lower valleys, broad-shouldered, heavy-maned, and used to walking wherever he pleased. At first, he passed through the mountains. Then he returned. And then he began to wait. He watched the wolves from the slope above their hollow. He learned when their breathing slowed. He learned when their legs were too tired to spring. And at dawn, when the wolves lay worn from the night's hunt, he would descend. Sometimes he circled them slowly, saying nothing. Sometimes he roared, and the sound shook pebbles loose from the cliffs. Sometimes he struck before they were fully awake, and each time he left them shaken. The wolves began sleeping lightly, then hardly at all, then not together. One cold night beneath a thin moon, the wolves gathered on a ridge of stone. Their ears twitched at every sound. Their tempers were short. "This cannot continue," said a young wolf pacing. We are many, another snapped. He is one. And yet, said a third, we scatter. A shape moved at the edge of the gathering. Old Shal, grey muzzled, slow stepping, silent for many seasons. He had not joined their councils in a long time. Yet here he was. You have howled loudly enough, he said. Even an old wolf like me could hear you. A younger wolf stepped forward. Help us, he said. Tell us how to defeat him. Old Shal looked at them one by one. You have teeth, he said. You have numbers. What you do not have is steadiness. A murmur rose. Then lead us, someone barked. Yes, another said. Be our Jamadar. The word moved through the pack. Jamadar, leader. Old Shal's ears flicked. A Jamadar, he said. And what will you do? We will follow, said the youngest among them. Old Shal held his gaze. A leader does not carry your courage for you, he said quietly. He only stands where you can see him. The wolves lowered their heads. Stand with us, they said. Old Shal was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded. To be Jamadar, he said, is to stand in front. But if you break and run, no leader can save you. To mark him, one wolf brought out a flat wooden frame that shepherds used in the valleys to toss grain into the air, letting the wind separate husk from seed. It was wide and easy to see. They tied it loosely across Old Shal's shoulders, so that in the heat of fear, every wolf would know where to look. Jamadar, they said again. Old Shal did not smile. Shoulder to shoulder, he replied. Dawn came, pale and cold. The wolves stood in a wide arc around their hollow. They did not lie down. They did not sleep. They waited. The lion climbed down the slope. He expected scattered bodies, half-waking shapes, easy panic. Instead, he found the pack standing, still watching him. He stopped. His tail flicked once. Then he roared. The sound rolled through the valley and echoed against stone. Several wolves flinched. One stepped back. The lion saw it. He walked forward slowly, testing. Old Shal did not bare his teeth. He did not crouch. He only said, shoulder to shoulder. And the wolves answered. They stepped towards one another. Their flanks touched. The lion moved suddenly towards the edge of the line. A young wolf's breath quickened. But he did not run. The lion swung to the other side. Another wolf trembled, but she held her ground. The line bent, but it did not break. The wooden frame on Old Shal's shoulders creaked softly as he shifted his weight. He did not move back. The lion circled them once, twice. He waited for one to turn, one to bolt, one to fall out of line. But no one did. They were afraid, but they were afraid together. The lion slowed. This was no longer the hunt he knew. He let out one last roar, long and low. Then he stepped back, and this time he turned. He climbed up the slope without looking behind him. The wolf stood still long after he had gone. Only when the wind moved again did they breathe properly. A young wolf laughed, though his legs were shaking. Old Charles let the wooden frame slip from his shoulders. It fell to the ground with a soft thud. "He is still a lion," he said. The pack listened. "But we," Old Charles continued, "are no longer scattered." From that day on, the lion still roamed the valleys. He was still strong, still fierce, but he did not descend into the wolf's hollow at dawn. When he passed their ridges, he looked. And if he saw them standing close, shoulder to shoulder, he chose an easier path. High in the mountains of Kashmir, the wind still moves through pine and stone. And when the wolves sleep at dawn, they sleep together. And that was the wolves who stood together. In the mountains, the lion did not become weaker, and the wolves did not suddenly become stronger. What changed was something small. They stopped standing alone. Fear did not disappear, but it no longer decided everything. Sometimes courage is not a roar. Sometimes it is simply staying where you are, close enough to feel another heartbeat beside your own. If you or your child have created something inspired by one of our stories, we would love to see it. You can send it to us through the art submission form on our website www.oaktreebooks.in/Oak Tree Stories. And if you enjoy listening to Oak Tree Stories, you can support the podcast through a small donation on our website. Every bit of support helps us continue telling stories slowly and with care. Grown-ups, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Oak Tree Stories, where we share listener artwork, updates, and glimpses from behind the scenes. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, it's easier to be brave when no one stands alone.